So thank you for this particular session. I guess you guys probably are interested to know more about how this gentleman here is going to walk you through some of the experience. So maybe I'll just do a quick introduction and I'll pass it to them. So my name is Anthony. So I'm from Sitecore. So basically, our company provide experience commerce to a lot of customers, including the retailers. So I'll pass it to you guys, and maybe you talk a little bit about what you do, and then move on.
Hi, my name is Dhiren. I head marketing for Kraft Heinz, which is Kraft the cheese and Heinz the sauces for Southeast Asia. In Indonesia, we market the product that you know more famously as ABC, which is Kesap ABC, Sambal ABC, ABC syrup, and the rest. And in the rest of Southeast Asia, we market, as I said, Heinz and other Kraft products. So that's my day job.
Hi, I'm Rifa. I'm head of e-commerce of Keynote Indonesia. As you know, Keynote Indonesia produce some brands like Larutan Cap Kaki Tiga, Cap Panda, and so many other brands. We have almost 20 brands, and I'm helping Keynote to create new business in online.
Yeah, I'm Fikar. I'm marketing manager for Coke Indonesia. So basically, I'm handling responsible for a digital, beyond digital space, basically. So what we're mainly do basically is marketing, marketing in the digital space, specific for me. So yeah, so I suppose everyone of us knows the brands like Coke, Sprite, Fanta, and so forth. So we're basically a marketing organization. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll jump to the first question, right? So I think a lot of people hear about digital, right? And maybe that's the reason why you're here. So maybe I'll ask the panelists, right? What kind of things you see is actually happening right now in the digital world?
I think what's today's best kind of like buzz. It's more about like, you know, how AI moved to augmented humanity, right? So this is really something that we think as a brand really connects. Why? Because every day, more and more, we want to reach our consumers better and better, right? It's always be the epicenter of what we are doing today, whether or not it's a digital space or a conventional space as like modern trade or general trade. So the idea of digital today should answer and give solutions for our consumer as a brand that not just selling basically products, but give a clear context of what will be the standpoint of the brands and how the brand can provide better solutions for our consumers. It's not merely about like, you know, a solution that apart from the brand context, but it is something that put in the attributes of the brand themselves. Say for instance, Coke with the happiness, Sprite with the be true to yourself. So every day more and more consumer we reach out as a human interactions kind of thing. So that's I think what's the insight for today.
Right. So you basically want to use the digital to represent your brand and the company, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. So maybe we have Riva.
Yeah. Okay. People in Indonesia is so influenced by the ongoing trends right now. So if they hear everyone else buy some new brands of food or drinks, they all go to buy that brands. For example, like Kopi Tuku. Oh, there's something new, new coffee. Kopi Tuku. I'll buy the Kopi Tuku, and then they buy. They order the coffee. They take a picture of the coffee, and then they upload to the social media, and then it goes viral. That's what's going on in Indonesia right now. So they're so influenced by the ongoing trends right now. That's what happened in Indonesia.
So for you, what you see is you need to show up, right? Like there's all this like social media, there's new digital channel, and you need to be there, right? People are looking at you, and then oh, you're not there, right? So what's going on?
Yeah,
that's your viewpoint, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So Dian?
I have 3 points about digital. The first is digital is a reality. I mean, it's a reality we live in. To call digital a medium is doing disservice to the fact that our lives are digital. So that's my first point. My second point is the way we look at digital. We are, as I said, we are a FMCG company. A majority of our business still resides in the offline world, growing in the online world, but resides in the offline world. So digital for us is a medium of communication, is a medium of information dissemination. So the trend we see from that perspective is digital is a perfect opportunity to create experiences for consumers, to treat digital as a simply an awareness medium, again, wouldn't cut through, because what consumers are demanding on whether you call it digital or social is experiences and interactions with each other, firstly and formally. And if brands can create experiences on digital where they can interact with brands, then they're willing to talk. But yeah, digital as a means of creating interesting experiences for brands is the trend, at least we see.
Right. So the keyword is like you use those to communicate. You need to create a delightful experience, right, with the customers on these channels. So I guess like the other question I have is, so now we have defined the definition of digital. What do you want to get out from the digital? Is there a particular measurement of success that you want to achieve?
Well, I think we always work within the connection framework. I think everyone knows about how Coke work on the content side, conversation side, drive through the experience and trial side. So we always work within that. So the expectation towards on how digital can basically evolve just beyond platform is something that we are really kind of like keen to explore better, experience better. So when it comes to a point where, say for instance, like we've been approached by vendors or something that really hits, the challenge will be how this platform can give solutions to our consumers. That being said, if we can crack that, it's something that's really tangible for the brand to kind of like participate in the journey. So yeah, I think we see digital basically not just as a platform-wise, but an enabler for us to reach better and better, or understand better or better our consumers. So yeah, that's my perspective.
Okay.
So in terms of measurement, if that's your question, we don't look at digital as a means of measurement. As I said, digital is a means of disseminating information, creating experiences. But the measurement is on business metrics. So the measurement has to tie back to sales, market share, penetration. Having metrics such as likes, engagement metrics such as likes or comments are good to have. Having reach metrics are good to have, but they're proxy metrics. We don't look at them as metrics for measuring business. Because we don't see any medium for that matter as being measured for the medium success alone. It should be measured for the success of what the business is trying to achieve.
Yeah, if I want to add on that part, I think there's a composition of soft metrics and hard metrics as well. When we're talking about digital, sometimes we kind of like, as basically an online marketing per se, we're kind of like struggling to answers like what will be the ROI towards our investment, right? Well, we can always see two sides of it. First is soft metrics, in which we can always see is like, for instance, brand equity, right? Brand equity, or perhaps more on the attributes towards the brand, in which that's resonates to how we can leverage experience within digital. The second one, if we can basically answer that, that's good. Even better if we can transfer, as in like the journey coming from the experience to the trial or consumption phase, in which we can basically connect the dots in between first the brand equity experience as well as transactions. But most of the time, as I think most of us having the same principle towards like we're big in offline market versus the online market in terms of business, right? So the way we kind of like draw the rationale towards how digital can answer the ROI should be given or should be exercised further better from the stakeholders themselves. It's not a digital manager kind of like decision. It's basically mutual alignment coming from the organization that need to push that forward. So when it comes to composition of, hey, you know what, what's the ROI? There's also already definition of soft metrics and hard metrics. I think that's just to add on that one.
Yeah. Okay. In Keynote, we also look to the future that for our millennials, they're having their own device, the mobile device every day. They access their device almost every hour. So we are using the digital to engage them. So they know our brands. They can see that our brands are available online. So we want to engage them digitally. So we have the feature of our brands. If the millennials don't know our product, how can they buy our product? If they don't buy our product, we're not gonna exist in the 5 or 10 years to come. So digital is a must for us to enter.
So I guess just to sum up the answer for this question, right? I hear three things. So I think one is, don't worry about like whether you have a very clear metrics. I think you need to try. Like if the measurement is like you need to be available on those news channel, and that's like one of the key win, going back to your boss, I think that's good for us. The second part is like it can be a soft target. It may not be directly contributed by a particular digital investment, but you can call and say, because I do this, the overall revenue have increased, right? So that can be a valid reason. The other part is it's a direct contribution that you can measure on the digital channels, right? So that's like will be something I would summarize based on this discussion. So anything you want to add before we jump to the next one? Yeah? All right. So the other question I have in mind, right? So if you're in the retail space, right? So if you're a B2C business, obviously you worry about like selling direct, right? The measurement is like how much sales you have improved. But then like for some brands, right? Your measurement may be, I just want to increase my brand awareness across all the digital media. It can be the customer is evaluating you right now, like whether you are actually the right product for the right purpose, right? So I just want to ask the panelists, is there a particular stage of the customer journey that you are prioritizing yourself right now that you want to conquer first, right? Is there a plan around that, like how do you want to roll out your digital strategy across the customer journey, the buying journey particularly? Yeah.
Okay, so I think the answer is no, and here's why. I think, as I said, whether it's awareness, consideration, trial, loyalty, digital as a medium can play a role almost anywhere depending on how you define it, right? But to us, again, the point is that digital needs, right now, we are using digital as a means of delivering two things. We believe that digital can deliver accelerated awareness, to be completely fair, at a slightly lower cost than some of the other media. Digital can allow us to get that number in a more transparent manner, so we can actually see the return on investment better than other media. And we use it as a means of converting opinion through product experiences, which would then align back to either a metric of consideration or a metric of trial. We don't currently use digital, for example, as a metric of loyalty, but yeah, to answer your question, it spreads across the entire purchase funnel, if you want to call it that.
In Keynote, we just started last year. We was increasing for the awareness for Keynote's product online. And then in this year, we are starting to combine with the consideration of the consumer. We are working together with the digital team, and we want our consumer to consider our products via the social media, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. And of course, we are thinking about another customer journey about how they can buy our product online, and then how to retain them so they can always come to buy our product. We are planning to engage them so we have a whole consumer journey on our products. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much aligned with Dhiren. Also, when we are looking at the context of digital, where most of the time our business driven by a conventional approach towards how it distributed or he would consume. So I think just to add on the framework, we always see three types of framework when looking at the brands or products, right? There are explorer brand, there will be challenger brand, and there will be the leader brand, right? So each of the framework serves different way to approach on how basically digital could play a role within each of the brackets of the categories. So by any means, for instance, like Explorer brand, obviously Explorer brand will require a lot of awareness, require a lot of, more into kind of like reaching at the scalable target audience, means that digital might only serves like 20-30% of it. The rest of it will be driven by the basically conventional mediums. Remember that Indonesia is still TV market, right? So the accelerated reach supposed to be happen in digital. So the role of digital mapped out that way. In terms of Explorer or in terms of Challenger, it's split both ways. And as part of the leader brand, most of the time, digital plays role to drive better experience for the consumer. So that's how the bracket works. Yeah.
So we're running out of time, but we'll have one more last question to the audience. So I just want to wrap up on this particular conversation, right? So you see that like different company will have different kind of strategies and different expectation around how they want to touch the customers, right? Around the different buying journey. So like we have like 3 different views, right? In a way. So I guess there's one last question is, if there's only one thing that you want to advise the audience, what is that one thing?
No, I think one of the things to remember about digital is it's not easy to craft for digital, whether it's communication or product experiences, because your barrier to interruption is higher on digital than any other medium. You're entering a space where people are on Facebook because they want to see what their other friends are doing. People are on WhatsApp because they want to chat with their friends. Brands are alien by definition in this environment. So you need to be that much better with your content and experience to be able to have a right to interrupt what is otherwise a very personal space. Digital and social is a very personal space. And I think that's the one thing that I'd want to leave audiences with.
Okay, for me is learn who is your customer. So you have to know what they are buying. You have to know their habits. You have to know when they will buy your product. So you have to know your customer. So many tools, so many technology available for you. You have to use it to help you to know more about your customer.
I think from my end, do the brilliant basics. Brilliant basics means understand what is required for your brand to kind of like evolve in the digital space. It's no longer about, hey, you know what, we need to do digital marketing. Let's place something on Facebook to have that exponential reach coming from our conventional reach, for instance. Brilliant basics means understand whether or not you require digital to give solutions for your brands, right? There are some brands, in my cases, that at the end, we put digital as part of the conversation platform only, or even the recommendation will be no digital at all. That can be the solution as well, but understand the context of how ready you are to embark with this, because once you go inside, as in like, say, each of the platforms require different kind of like delicate approach to understand. So you can't go and, you know, and ballistic, being very aggressive to ensure that your brands will be available on your Facebook, Twitter, and so forth. Just understand what you want to communicate, what types of content you want to deliver, conversation that matter for your brands, and what's the experience that you want to achieve. So brilliant basics means understand better your brand and, you know, start it from there. So that's my...
So I'll add one last thing. Time's Up play is at the back. But so a lot of people, I think you hear, you want to sell stuff to your customers, right? You want to sell stuff. But if you think of like what we talk about is around the customer experience, know about the product, you think of the angle, how people buy, it's not as much how you sell, right? I think if you turn the angle around, you as a customer, how you want to buy, how you actually want people to respect your privacy, how you actually interact with the other people, that might be a good spot. So I'll pass it back to the MC, right? All right. Thank you, panelists.
Right.